Hi, welcome to this video. My name is Xavier Devroy. I'm a postdoctoral researcher here at TU Delft, and I'm very happy to present you today the result of the 2020 edition of the G-Unit Testing Tool Competition. Here at TU Delft, I do research on unit test generation for various purposes like crash reproduction, API misuse detection, and class integration testing. It is my great pleasure to welcome you today with my co-chair Sebastiano Panichella and Alessio Gambi and present you the result of the 8th edition of the G-Unit tool competition.
Hi, I am Sebastiano Panichella from Zurich University Applied Science in Switzerland. My research goal is to conduct industrial research involving researchers and industrial practitioners. My research interests are in the domain of software engineering, cloud computing. I'm interested in DevOps, software maintenance evolution, applied to sub-physical system, mobile application, and cloud applications. I'm also interested in applying machine learning to different software engineering problems. This year, I decided to join the team of chairs of the Search-Based Software Testing Tool Competition because I strongly believe in testing automation and the importance of having testing automation in industrial settings. And the Search-Based Software Testing community, I think, is the best community to reach this goal.
Hi, my name is Alessio Gambi from the University of Passau in Germany. I do research in the area of software engineering, where I mostly focus on developing new techniques for automatically testing complex systems such as self-driving cars and cloud-based applications. In parallel to this, I also investigate methods for improving software testing and computer science education. This year, I decided to join Xavier and Sebastiano in co-chairing the tool competition because I strongly believe in research ideas that work in practice and those researchers that are not afraid to show what their tools are actually capable of. I hope that, like me, you will enjoy the rest of this presentation.
So let's go for the results. The G-Unit competition is running every year now since 2016 and is co-located with the Search-Based Software Testing Workshop. The infrastructure has evolved and is now running on Docker with Jacoco to compute the code coverage and PyTest to perform mutation analysis. So this year we consolidated the infrastructure and fixed several bugs identified in the previous edition. We also parallelized the mutation analysis to reduce the overall execution time. So the infrastructure runs in a Docker container and communicates with each tool using an adapter called runtool. We executed each tool 10 times for each class center test and each time budget. So this year we decided to run the tools for two different time budgets, one with 1 minute and one of 3 minutes. So for each test suite, we filter out flaky tests. In our case, flaky tests are tests that pass during generation, but fail when re-executed multiple times. So we run each test suite 5 times to identify flaky tests. Those tests are ignored when computing the coverage score and mutation analysis afterwards. For the remaining tests, we compute the statement and branch coverage using Jacoco, and we also perform mutation analysis using PyTest engine to generate the mutants. We do not use PyTest running environments since it can give error for test cases with ad hoc and non-standard G-Unit runners. So PyTest is still combined with Jacoco to execute only mutants if actually infecting the lines covered by the generated tests. So at the end we end up with a set of coverage and mutation score values for each tool. Those values are used to establish the score of the different tools and rank them accordingly. So for that, we apply the same formula used in the last competition. So this formula combines coverage metrics, effectiveness, execution time, and the number of flaky and non-compiling tests generated by the different tools. So the infrastructure itself is available on GitHub. It contains documentation to run the infrastructure and show how to use it and configure it for a new tool. So if you want to contribute, please do not hesitate. We would be very happy to receive pull requests. So for this year edition, we selected several projects for the benchmark. So to constitute this benchmark, we selected open source projects from GitHub. Those projects are built using either Maven or Gradle and include GUnit 4 test suite. So we also include projects, one project from the last year's edition. So in the end, we selected 4 projects: Guava, a set of core Java library extending the standard Java API; Fescar, which is an easy-to-use, high-performance open-source distributed transition solution; Spoon, a library for analyzing and transforming Java source code; and PDFbox, an Apache Java API to work with PDF documents. So, to select the classes under test, we first remove likely trivial classes that are not challenging for the different tools. And for that, for each project, we filter out classes that contain only methods with a cyclomatic complexity that is lower than 5. So this gives us a set of 1094 candidate classes. We then executed rundoop with a time budget of 10 seconds against each candidate class and filter out classes for which rundoop could not generate a single test. So this reduces the chances of running into technical difficulties during the execution of the different tools. This gives us a set of 382 classes for which the generated test achieved the line and branch coverage and mutation score reported in the graph. So from those 382 classes, we selected 20 classes under test for each project. The right part of the graph reports the line and branch coverage and the mutation score of the corresponding test produced by rundoop. We added 10 classes from Spoon, which were used in the past edition of the competition, for a total of 70 classes under test this year. So we ran each tool 10 times for two search budgets, 1 minute and 3 minutes, and on each of the 70 classes under test. The execution were done in parallel in Docker container on 2 different servers. For statistical analysis, we used the Friedman test, a non-parametric test for multiple problem analysis, and the post-hoc Conover's procedure for pairwise multiple comparison. This year we had only one competitor, EvoSuite, with the latest version of Dynamosa, a many-objective algorithm with dynamic selection of the target. And we compared EvoSuite to rundoop, which implemented a feedback-driven random testing strategy. So our results show that EvoSuite achieves in general better coverage than rundoop. The average mutation score indicated in red in the graph of EvoSuite and rundoop are comparable. However, the mutation score of EvoSuite decreases a bit for the classes of the PDF and Spoon project. So looking at the score of the different classes under tests, EvoSuite achieves in general better score than rundoop, both for 1 and 3 minutes time budget. So the winner of this year's edition of the GUnit competition is EvoSuite with a score of 406.14. Congratulations. So among the lessons learned from this edition of the GUnit competition, we saw that the new results are consistent with other independent evaluation of EvoSuite, which also shows that the bug discovered last year could be fixed in the infrastructure. The two-step selection procedure for the class under test also allowed us to discover several configuration issues early on in the process. Unfortunately, this selection procedure remains mainly a manual process, and that process should be automated a bit more in future editions of the contest. Finally, using Docker images really makes life easier when running the evaluation. So what's coming next? Well, the contest infrastructure is openly available on GitHub. We are currently working on improving its usability to ease the setup of new evaluations and facilitate the usage of the infrastructure. We will also contact the chair and participants of the previous edition to see with them how we can store and version the results of previous edition in a more systematic way. And of course, for the next edition, as always, more tools and more class under tests. Next year, the competition will be chaired by Sebastiano Panichella, Alessio Gambi, and well, maybe you. So if you're interested, please do not hesitate to contact us. That's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you around for the 9th edition of the GUnit Test Competition.